Okay, so 22.4, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the same problem, and I'm just going to review all the various methods that we've learned to solve. And then as you go through the homework, what you need to be able to do is identify probably what's the most efficient method and work it that way. So here is my given problem that I have. Sorry about that. Move this up a little bit. Okay, so I have 2x squared minus x equals 10. Okay, so the first way I'm going to solve is I'm going to try to factor, because we spent a lot of time, well, actually, yeah, let's start with factoring. So with factoring, we said the first thing you got to do is get everything equal to 0. So I'm going to move the 10 over. Minus x minus 10 equals 0. Look for GCF. There is no GCF here that I can take out. So I'm going to do bottoms up. So I'm going to multiply that. 2 times negative 10 is negative 20. So I'm going to rewrite that as a coefficient of 1, x squared minus x minus 20. Factors of 20 that subtract to give me negative 1. So that would be x minus 5. And then x plus 4. Go back, take my leading coefficient, divide by that. 1 times 2, 1 times 2. 2 will not go into 5, so bottoms up. 2 will go into 4 2 times. So then that gives me 2x minus 5, and it gives me x plus 2. So set each factor equal to 0, or you can just look at it in a lot of cases. So solve, add 5, 2x equals 5, divide by 2. So 5 halves, and then x plus 2 equals 0, subtract 2, so x equals negative 2. And those are my two solutions. So that's factoring, having to do bottoms up. Okay, now I'm just going to scroll this up. We're going to do the same exact problem. Move it over here. Sorry about that. Get that over to the side. All right, so we have 2x squared minus x equals 10. Okay, so in this one, we're going to do completing the square. So I have 2x squared minus x equals 10. And I have to do plus something plus something. Now, in this case, let's review real quick. We said if this was a perfect square, then you would try to go ahead and go straight into the perfect square trinomial. But 2 is not a perfect square. So what I'm going to have to do here is I need to divide everything by 2. So then that gives me x squared minus 1/2 x plus something equals 5 plus something. Okay. Now let's go through completing the square. So we take that, divide that by 2. It's going to be negative 1/4. We square that, and that's going to be positive 1/16. So that's what goes here. That's what goes here. So 1/16. 1/16. Going to factor this. That factors easily now because we know what that middle thing is. Minus 1/4 squared equals. Now I'm going to add these. Now to add these, you want to have a common denominator. So I'm going to work this over to the side here. So 5 plus 1/16. So I'm going to multiply this by 16 over 16. So I get a common denominator. So 5 times 16 is 80 over 16 plus 1 over 16. So that's 81 over 16. Now what I do, I take the square root of both sides. So that gives me x minus 1/4 equals, now I can take the square root of 81 is 9, square root of 16 is 4, plus minus. Okay. Now I need to do my two cases. Okay, so you add 1/4, 1/4, cancel. So you've got x equals 1/4 plus or minus 9/4. Okay, but you can actually simplify these. So I do 1/4 plus 9/4. That would be 10/4, which reduces to 5/2. Same thing I got right up there. And then I have 1/4 minus 9/4, which is negative 8/4, which is negative 2. And that's the same thing I got right up here. Okay, so that was by completing the square. Now, let's take that back just a second and let's talk about graphing, okay? So I'm going to come back to this point right here. I want to shrink that down for you. And what I'm going to do is I'm now going to translate that graphically. So right here, I had x minus 1/4 squared equals, that was square root, or 81/16, sorry. If I move this over, x minus 1/4 squared minus 81/16 equals 0, graphically, we remember what this means. That means move to the right 1/4, move down negative 81/16. It's kind of weird, but what that means graphically is to the right. So if this is 1/4 would be, somewhere like right here. 81/16. If you were to simplify that, that's negative 5 and 1/16. So if this was negative 5, then we're talking about our vertex being, somewhere like right here. And then what happens? This opens up. Where does it open up and how does it open up? Well, it's going to open up and it's going to cross here and here. And where are these at? That's at negative 2. And this is at 2.5 or 5/2. Okay. So that's where it would have crossed. And that's how we would have done it graphically. We would have set that equal to y1, that equal to y2, and then find where they intersected and everything. Okay. Now, let's go to our next method. So 2x squared minus x equals 10. So we've done factoring, we've done completing the square, we looked at graphing and how to find it, and then our last one that we looked at is quadratic formula. Now with quadratic formula, it's like factoring, you got to get it equal to 0. So we take that over. We identify our coefficients. A is 2. B here is negative 1. C is negative 10. And we're just going to plug into the formula. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And again, anytime you're substituting into the formula, use parentheses for your values. So we simplify. This is going to be a positive 1 plus or minus. Go under the square root. Again, you can type all of this in the calculator at one time and figure that out, but that's going to be 81 all over 4. The square root of 81 is 9, so we've got 1 plus or minus 9 over 4. Now I do my two cases. So I have 1 plus 9 over 4, which is 10 over 4, which is 5/2 again. And then I do 1 minus 9 over 4, which is negative 8 over 4, which is negative 2 again. So the idea here is that there are multiple ways to solve quadratics. What you'll want to do in this lesson is find what the most efficient way is to solve.